And it's the Mark Clark Show, and that is I Got the Moves. That artist is Ash, and I have Ash on the line. Ash, what's going on?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for this.
We love your latest. We love your latest single, and that's off your new album, right?
Yes, it is.
And what's your album called?
The name of the album is It's Just Art Special Edition. I released it prior to the special edition in March, and then we added some features from Princess from Crime Mob and a band called All Cows Eat Grass.
Okay.
And Dougie. And so we put out a special edition version the end of last year. So, yep.
I love it. And so, Ash, I wanted to give you, I'm really trying to, in 2020, expand and give my platform out to artists who are out there doing it. and out there grinding and may not have the biggest name yet, but will have the biggest name. So Ash, tell us about your backstory. You're in Atlanta, but tell us about your backstory, how you got started, what made you get started, your influences. Tell us your story. I was born a poor black child. Now, what's your story, Ash?
No, that's funny. No, I was born in Oklahoma City to a mom who was an air traffic controller, and she also sang in church really, really well. And just all my life, I was kind of exposed to music. Eventually, my parents split. My mom moved to Cleveland, and that's where me and my brothers grew up. And at that age, around 5 to 8, I began writing, and it was really just so natural. I started writing poems and poetry and stories, and I could always sing. It was like a natural gift, and so I kind of merged the two. I just would sing whatever I would write as a kid, and it just kind of stuck with me. Then I got involved in some girl groups in Cleveland and had some fun making girl groups and writing songs. And eventually it was time to go to college, and I got a scholarship to Spelman College in Atlanta. And I moved to Atlanta. I started singing background for different gospel artists, and eventually graduated from college. Moved to DC to work for the government and just kind of go my mom's route, and made a decision that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I left DC and moved back to Atlanta, and eventually started singing and performing around the city, and got the opportunity to sing background for Janelle Monáe. And I sang background and dance with her for about 6 years. And prior to the end of that, I released an EP called The Perfect EP in 2015. And that kind of got some buzz. And I was featured in several publications, and eventually, I did a tour and talked to just different high schools around the city. The next year in 2016, I released the Please Like Me EP. And, excuse me, I did a show on BET with Kelly Rowland called Chasing Destiny. Went on a living room tour around the East Coast just to get to know my fans, because I'm like so independent. I don't have a team or anything. And it was literally just word of mouth. And so I went on a tour 2016 and was called by TJ Morton in 2017 to open up for his Gumbo tour. And I had a really awesome opportunity to open up for 20 of his shows. And yeah, I mean, the story goes on and on. I became a flight attendant, as an independent artist, to kind of course, support me. And it would be super helpful to have flight benefits, to perform. And so 2018, I spent that time working on an album. And I released the album in 2019. It went to number 4 on Apple Music's top R&B chart. And yeah, it's just been a journey, and I'm getting ready to do some shows, and that's a long, long, long story. But I'm influenced by, my mother. Of course, she can sing, and Shaka Khan, Diana Ross, and Rihanna, and I mean Robin. There are so many artists that inspire me. The Gap Band, and the list goes on and on. I just love music. I love writing, and that's my story in a nutshell. Long story, but yeah, that's it.
And I'm sticking with it. Ash, let me tell you something.
And I'm sticking with it.
Let me tell you something. That story right there is so inspiring, though, because it really speaks. This is a person who obviously will not be stopped. This is a person has varied interests. It's like you're a very driven person, and it's interesting. Like, you've been in circles. And I think that is the beauty of, where we are now in a sense, because of the different platforms. So here's, you've had the influences of your mom, and then you went to college. It gives you more options. And then you're in the circle of a Janelle Monáe, who you got a chance to see what it looks like when you're kind of an artist, a unique artist who has an amazing fanatical fan base. So she, before Janelle was getting radio airplay, she was building the fan base. So you probably took clues from that and said, look, as long as I grow my fans and I can stay in touch with them, I can do this, I can do that. Like you said, being a flight attendant is smart because now you're reducing your travel expense. At the same time, it allows you to fly to different markets and do shows. And so this is a new kind of a paradigm shift with artists of this generation versus in the old days where they had other people do it. And a lot of times other people take advantage. And it's amazing. A lot of artists who already have what an unknown artist doesn't have is recognition. A lot of those artists are sitting at home not realizing there's a whole market out here they could be making money off of. And so someone like yourself, you get it, you know? And so, and I imagine, Ash, even probably people close to you, your family members, and some people probably don't really understand what you're doing. You know, they're probably like, oh, wait a minute, I thought she was going to be an artist, so she a flight attendant now. No, they don't realize that you're growing your audience, and that audience can be with you nowadays. The beauty of it is you can release music, you can sell to them, you can fly to them across the world and entertain them. It might just be 500, might just be 5,000, but that money goes right in your pockets, right to your Cash App, and you don't have to worry about going through a middle person, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. You know, and like you said, if you commit to the process of life and in all those experiences I've had, it's just keep your head down and keep your sleeves rolled up. You know, it's not going to be handed to you, and be grateful for the opportunities you have. And also know in those seasons, you know, you should move to a new season, you know, or a new phase of your career, and just be grateful. And if you are not caught up in cheating the process, I mean, I believe that, you know, there are some fans out here for every independent artist, and just do the work and believe in yourself. And yes, my family doesn't get it all the time, but I know they love me, and I don't take anything personally, and they're seeing the results of the work, and it might be small, like you said, and I'm still growing, and I'm so grateful for the growth, but I'm staying on the train, you know? So yeah, you're absolutely right. And
what is in your experience, for those people who are listening and who are grinding and artists and trying to make it happen, in your experience, which platform has, you know, really gives you gets the biggest return in investment? Is it YouTube, Twitter, Instagram? Which one of your, or a combination of, which one of them really gives you what you need as far as, like, you know, kind of connecting you with your audience?
Probably Instagram. That's the most, that's the best way to communicate from fan to artist or family to artist. It's just what we're on 24/7. Twitter's cool, but Twitter is a different voice, you know, but as far as the excitement of seeing you perform live and just looking at you or admiring the music or wanting to share love, Instagram is pretty much it holds the most traffic for me.
And do you also release music on Instagram and send them there, or do you also have a YouTube page, you know, or do you just do MP3s directly? How do you handle that part?
No. Well, I do it through a distribution company. I'm independent, so there are different companies like TuneCore and DistroKid where, you know, once the music is done, you upload to their platform, and they make sure it gets to Apple Music, Spotify, and all of the streaming sites. So I've always done my stuff pretty legit, you know, and made really awesome investments in making sure that even though I'm independent, that it can stand next to a Taylor Swift or a Rihanna record. And if I'd rather pay extra for the guys who master those albums to master mine. And I've
my
that
goodness,
you know,
Ash, listen to artists, would you listen to Ash? Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy, artists, listen to Ash working in radio. Now radio, you know, to some people's minds, radio's dead, but anyway, but Ash just said something that so many artists don't understand. It's like, look, I don't care. Yeah. If you come to a radio station, if you come to anybody and you want them to play your product, the question, like Ash just said, is how does it hold up to Beyonce? How does it hold up to Rihanna? How does it hold up to Taylor Swift? If you consider yourself an artist and you want to be taken seriously, not only does your packaging have to be right, but it all has to be right, and you are competing with the best to do it. You're not competing with a person that sucks off the street and you go, oh, this is pretty good compared to Joe Blow. No. How is it compared to the people who are doing it? And so many, over the years, so many people have come with just weak singles, weak everything and expecting to get a break. It's not a break. If it's hot, it's hot. If it's not, it's not. And that's the kind of mindset. So when you just saying that, though, speaks to somebody who probably at one point maybe it wasn't so hot. No joking. Ash, did you have to learn that, or did it kind of come you through observation over time?
Well,
or was there a time when you had a suck packaging and a suck single, and you were like, "Oh man, I'm not ready"?
No, I never have. I was really fortunate prior to my season post singing background to always work with really great producers. And at that time, there was MySpace. I was probably one of the first super independent people who was able to upload to Apple Music, but I always knew about mixing and mastering, and I've always just had that ear for quality. And if it's not ready, then it's probably not ready to be out, So post that, though, my producer, T. Brown, who was a music director, he had a band called Jazz Specs back in the day, Morehouse graduate, and he was Janelle Monáe's music director. He and I worked together, and so he's also has that standard of excellence. And so we're like, okay, this song, I Got the Moves, or Anyway sounds, we're inspired by Michael Jackson. We're going to Bernie Drummond. We're going to go to that mastering studio in LA, and we're going to have them, as independent artists, they're going to master the record. And we made that investment because we had the vision. We know that this music will live, and live long. And so I want to give it, the chance. And, that's just, I want that record to knock. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like all those, if it's real music, you want every point of that, every instrument to be clear and strong, and people shouldn't know the difference between you and a Rihanna record or you and a Coldplay record, or, it should be like, man, who is this person? And so that's how I feel when it comes to the music, period. It's great. I believe in it.
And, we kind of we talk about like, younger artists compared to the older artists. And, I guess and I'm 53 years old. So in our generation and in the back in the old days, being able to sing and really like, you had to almost shut it down vocally. Nowadays things are different. And so, you know what I mean? A lot of times it's different. But what do you work on as an artist, as a vocal artist? What are the, how do you train your instrument? How do you make sure you're at your best?
Ooh, well, there are lots of details. The number one thing is rest. I'm a flight attendant, like I said, so that is hard at times to get the rest that I need. But when I know I have a show coming up, I'm very, 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 very disciplined. Lots of water, lots of vocal warm-ups, getting your, watching how you talk, how heavy you speak to others, making sure you're protected, out in the elements. Just trying to stay away from alcohol, refrain from things that are going to be super acidic on your vocal cords, lots of honey, lots of charming, sexy talkings, talk low so that you can give your A game when it's time, to perform. Yeah.
Do you love performing? How would you rate yourself as a performer? 1 to 5, girl, 5 being Beyonce. Oh
God, 5 is Beyonce. I will not rate myself, but I am a solid performer. As far as a vocalist, I believe in my voice. I know I have a unique sound. And I think that I perform for the record that I'm singing. I'm going to give a vibe. Whatever the audience gives me, I give it right back to them. So, I believe I'm a really great performer, and I love it. It's the artist to fan connection. There's nothing more impactful than sharing your music live. There are so many things that people, when they hear it on the record or they hear it on whatever streaming site, they have their own story, as they should. But when they're in the audience with you and they can feel you and they can hear the story through your voice live, I think that merge in that moment is unlike anything else you can do as an artist.
Her name is Ash. Her latest single is I Got the Moves. What's your latest album, baby?
It's Just Art Special Edition.
It's Just Art Special Edition. Ash,
yeah.
We wish you the very best. Thank you for spending some time with us. And hey, Look, when you come through DC, the DMV, or maybe I need to bring you. Okay, do I need to bring you? Do I need to bring you?
Yeah,
Ash?
sure. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. And again, how can they reach you, Ash? How can they download your products? How can they stay in contact?
Yes, they can go to weloveash.com. Everything you need is there. Everything. weloveash.com. And my Instagram is I am just Ash.
Awesome. Ash, thanks again, my love. We wish you the very best and continued success, okay?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
It's the Marc Clark Show. Here's another one from Ash. I hope you enjoy it. And tell me how you like this. Make sure you share this show. You, of course, you listen, you share, and you tell everybody to download the Allison and Marc app, ALLISON, the and sign, MARC. Download it on iTunes and also Google Play. Download the app and follow everything that goes on. And shoot, I'm even going to throw up. I'll get some of Ash's, get her videos or whatever she's doing. I throw them on our app. So make sure you do that. Have a good one. It's the Marc Clark Show.
Why I wanna make you mine, but I tell them they can And cut.